Hey, running friends. Welcome to the Wrinkled Runner podcast. I'm Sherry, the Wrinkled Runner. I'm over 50 and I love to run wherever I go, but Buffalo, New York is my home. If you are looking to start to run or you're an older runner, this podcast is especially for you, so subscribe now. I love to help people get running and keep running.
Okay, so we're going to try this again and see if we can do this outside like I've been wanting to do. And I did run outside last week, but then as you all found out, it didn't record because I didn't turn my mic on. The mic is on. I think my workout's in my phone. Now we're going to start with a 5-minute warm-up. I'm going to start by walking it. And you can either walk it with me or you can do some prescribed warm-up drills like knee grabs for 1 minute and then A skips for 1 minute and then butt kicks for 1 minute. And then from there, walk. You'll have 2 minutes before the run starts. Now today is the 3-2. So if you've been following along, today you're going to be running more than you're going to be walking throughout the workout, which is cool, but there are a few things I'm going to want you to check as you're doing this. So we're going to start the workout, and if you don't know what I'm referring to, then go back to the first episode of this season where I kind of give you an introduction to the workouts and the warm-ups and things like that. I will also link below to a lot of the same things. Now, right now I'm trying to figure out where to go so that it's quieter. We're at rush hour here in Buffalo right now. Oh, and it's beautiful, beautiful morning. Okay, so we're going to start this workout. I mean, beautiful as in there's snow out covering all the trees, not beautiful weather-wise as far as the temperature. But let's make sure that our workout is in my watch. Sometimes it takes a while to warm up and say good morning, and it has said good morning. So you're going to start 1 minute of knee grabs starting now. Okay, so you're going to have 1 minute to do those knee grabs. And if you don't know what I'm referring to with any of these warm-up drills, then you can either pause and you can look at what that entails, or just go ahead and walk. And I'm going to walk today. So I needed to get out here. My son's daughter's daycare center HVAC broke. So I'm going to get this running before I get to have my little granddaughter for the day, who is a joy. I'm not being sarcastic. Okay, so you're doing your knee grabs or you're walking or you're getting ready to go out the door. And we've talked about how a warm-up really gets your body moving and ready for the run. And it's important. Okay, ready? You're going to switch to A skips now, okay? And those are a little more, that's drill-like. So it could be included in any warm-up, but it's actually a drill for actual running and showing your body or getting your body ready to run. So you can also refer to some videos on that if you don't know what an A skip is, which I didn't know, and you can't really even, I don't know, I don't find trying to describe it easy. So I suggest you look at a video to see what I mean by an A skip. So as you're doing your warm-up, you also may be getting ready to go out the door. Now for me, it is a chilly morning. It's not too horrendous. 3, 2, 1. All right, butt kicks for 1 minute. It's not too horrendously cold out, but it's cold enough that, I have mittens and hat and everything on. Because you're doing a run walk, you're going to be running and walking, duh. But that can mean that if you sweat during the run part, the walk part can get pretty brutal if you're in a cold weather situation. So make sure that you are dressed correctly for the weather. Some people run hot, some people run cold. I'll link you down below to I guess you could call it a calculator or a guide to what to wear for different temperatures and things like that. Just because it can be very uncomfortable in colder weather or hotter weather if you don't dress correctly, and that's going to kill motivation. Okay, so you have 2 minutes now to finish your warm-up before we start our run. And that means get out the door, get on the treadmill, do whatever it is you need to do. And once you're ready with wherever you are going to be running, just keep walking. And a walking warm-up is good, and it gets your body ready to go. I appreciate warming up. A lot of times I do it, like I've said in the past few weeks, in the house when it's cold, just because then my body is ready to get out the door. But because I had some extenuating circumstances this morning, I just wanted to get out here and get started. So I'm just going to be walking the warm-up. So you have about a minute left to get yourself ready to run, and you're going to be running for 3 minutes. And I mean 3 minutes conversationally. You're not trying to sprint. You're not trying to do anything but run conversationally, and that means you're going to be doing what I'm doing. If you can talk to yourself while you're running, then that's easy. That's an easy pace, and that is exactly what I want you to be doing. We know a lot of times we as runners try to kill every run, and it can get you in trouble. So especially when you're first starting out, your runs need to be easy. Don't even think about pace. Just move one foot in front of the other, a little faster than what your walking is. Don't worry about anything but running. 3, 2, 1, run. Okay, so we are running for 3 minutes, and we're still doing this 6 times so that your run part is 30 minutes long. I'm getting to a busy area, so hopefully you can hear me, and there's a lot of crunching snow, so hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. We talked about how I have that misophonia, so that I want to kill people that are making noises that are not like normal noises, but I hear you if this is really annoying. I want you to check in with your body, especially while you're running, but even when you're walking, because sometimes these niggles and things that might be getting on you from overuse, sometimes they happen when we're walking, and that's when we experience it. Let's see, I'm gonna have to stop a minute at a light here. But I want you to really stay in tune with your body as we're doing this, because we're going to be running longer than the walk. And that's a very big accomplishment for a lot of you. And I want you to do it smartly because I want you to keep doing it. So I want you to pay attention to things like, how does your ankle area feel? How does your tendon area feel? Because we can manage these little things now. It's when we keep going when we're not supposed to or when we shouldn't that give you the big injuries that take you out. And at this stage of the game that you guys are at, if it takes you out, there's a good possibility you're not going to get back into it again. And one of the reasons we get injured when we're first starting out is we're doing these overuse, it's an overuse injury type of thing. And I'm not going to talk too much about it, but be aware of doing too much. These little niggles need to be taken care of, because not only for this week are you doing the 3-2, you're also upping your runs for the week instead of just 3.
What I'm going to keep bothering you about, for lack of a better word, is that I want you to start relying on yourself. I'm going to try and teach you over the last 6 weeks or however much longer we have, to be able to kind of advocate for yourself and track your own things for your own body. Okay, recover now.
How are you feeling? Do you feel good? There's a large snowplow in front of me, so do you feel good? Do you feel those little niggles like I'm talking about? And I'm not talking about like just feeling a little sore or a little, fatigue in your legs. I'm talking about, when you're walking tomorrow and you have some pain in your Achilles tendon area or in your calf or in your hamstrings, things like that. That is saying that maybe you are overusing or starting an overuse injury, which means I do not want you to move into the 4 days this week. I want you to stick with the 3. You can stick with the 3 too, as long as you're feeling that that's okay, but don't move up to the 4 times a week. Stay with the 3 and stay with the 3 until you're feeling like you can up it another day. And that might not be for, another week. And if you're still feeling niggles, then I want you to stop and take a few days off. Run again and then see what you're feeling. And if you're confused by any of this, go ahead and email me so that I can try to help you kind of figure it out, or maybe direct you to some other resources so that you can try to figure it out as well. I want you to feel totally recovered before you go into the next run. And remember, now that we're upping it to 4, okay, ready, 3, 2, 1.
Run. Okay, so how does that feel? It can be kind of a shock when your recovery time is less than the run all of a sudden, because that 2 minutes up to 3 minutes might have seemed like a really big deal, because it is kind of a big deal. This is not, it's not going to be easy. Getting started with something is not easy, and I don't want it to be super easy. You're training, and part of training is doing what might be hard at first, but then part of your training is, well, that kind of, that's what gets you
to the easier part of it.
It's a hard road, you know. You want to do good right away, and we want to think things are happening fast. So part of the running and the training is consistency. That's what I'm talking about. You have to keep on keeping on. Now, not if you're injured, okay? So don't get me wrong.
Not if you're injured. You're not pushing just
for pushing's sake, but keeping it up when everything is feeling okay, but you feel like you're not progressing. One of the things I want you to think about when you run is, does my body feel like this is good, or am I feeling not recovered? Especially for those of you who are older, sometimes we need an extra recovery day. That may not be in the quote unquote the plan. I know for myself, there has been some marathon training, for example, that I have tried that ups your training to 6 days a week, and that I cannot do. I've learned that I very quickly set into burnout or overtraining if I try to run 6 days a week instead of my usual 5. So it's a matter of knowing your body. And for those of us who are older, we may need an extra recovery time. So maybe you'll never run 4 days a week. Maybe you'll always run 3 days a week. But it's important you don't just follow this plan because I'm telling you, or that plan that you got off the internet. It's got to be tailored to you. What I'm trying to do is making you focus on your body and focus on yourself to get you to learn how to make training decisions on your own. So absolutely make sure that you're learning from reputable sources all about running, but also know yourself and what's good for you. We can get so dependent on what other people say and how other people tell us to do it. Okay, recover for 2 minutes.
That we're not doing ourselves any favors and we're not getting better as far as running goes. We're not gaining running fitness because we're listening to somebody else and we're not listening to ourselves. And I want you to have the confidence to listen to yourself. That's what it's about, is having the confidence to listen to your own body. So make sure you are feeling recovered the day that you go out for your next run. Because if you're not recovered, then you're not going to be building the running body as ideally as it can be. Running your body constantly, running every day, running all the time, running fast all the time, running whatever. You're actually not doing your running body any favors. You're not going to get fitter. You're not going to get faster. You're just going to break your body down. So if there's a large silence in between when I speak, it's because I'm still getting over a cold and I'm blowing my nose, and I'm saving you from having to hear that. So just so you know. Now make sure also not just that you're feeling recovered before your next run, after a run, but that you're feeling recovered for the next interval. So if I'm telling you that it's time to run and you don't feel like you're recovered, or you don't feel like you can, or you just want to walk, just walk. There is no one else but me in your ear, and I can't see you. So if you feel like your body needs that extra couple of minutes to walk, then you start to run when you can start to run. Don't make it, I'm not telling you that you need to do this,
whatever the cost. Okay, so we are running for 3 minutes. Okay, and yeah, that's another thing too. Make sure you feel recovered during the run itself, not just in between days. That's what the walk breaks are for recovery, to get your heart rate back down, and it's for your body to kind of get ready again for another run, another interval. So make sure your body also feels recovered before you start that next run. And if your body's not ready, your body's not ready. So it might need another week to up it to 4. It might need another 2. Just stick with it and you do you. If you need to stick with the 3, stick with the 3 times a week. In the end, you're going to get better. Okay, so now what I also want you to do this week, especially if you run the 4 times at the end of the week, but either way, I want you to look at your total distance run for the week if you're able to track that. If you don't have any kind of a fitness watch, which if you're just starting out, then maybe you don't have that. There are trackers that you can have on your phone so that at least you're getting some idea. Nothing's like 100% accurate when you're running out here in the wild instead of in a lab, but it's accurate enough to give you some kind of a picture. So if you have any kind of device that's tracking your runs, and I'll link you to some you can use on your phone, then go ahead and look at each week. Look at where your distance is in week 1 and versus the end of this week. And in all probability, you will have gone farther this week than last week and farther than the week before that since you started. That should be something that you are proud of, that you got to whatever distance that is, beyond what you did when you started. And every week you're going to get further and further, and you will be totally surprised at the end of 10 weeks how far along you've come. Okay, I need to concentrate a little bit here. There's a spiral bridge here in Buffalo that we go up, and they don't. Okay, recover for 2 minutes.
That they don't, what is the word? Broom, take care of, shovel, whatever. In the wintertime, when we got some snow yesterday, and it gets very icy. And you can tell by my breathing, it's also a pretty good incline. When I do some hill work, which I'll introduce you to later in this, where I start talking about what you can do after you're through with this 10-week program. I do hill work here in the summertime, but I do not do it in the wintertime because I would probably knock out 5 of my teeth just because it's so icy a lot of the time in the winter. So I also want you to tune in to your body again. Maybe that's the theme of today. And feel if you feel stronger. Are you feeling like, even if today isn't as easy as last week because of this longer running, but do you feel stronger than you did in week 1? Do you feel like you're getting in a good run and that it's feeling easier than it was? Morning. Because that's key, right? Like, you want to be able to feel stronger and feel better than you did a month ago. And that's part of the goal is, I don't think any of you are thinking that this 10-week program is going to make you turn into an Olympian. And if it does, holy cow, but I'm not the coach for you, I can tell you that. Okay, run for 3 minutes.
But if you're feeling stronger in whatever you're doing, then that is the goal. And another thing to keep you feeling stronger is that strength work that we talked about. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but getting your strength work in, that's part of your homework today. It's getting just 20 minutes by the close of the week of strength work in. I find it easiest to do after I'm done with my run because I'm already dressed in workout clothes and it doesn't take all that long. So I want you to do 10 minutes 2 times this week. That will be part of your homework, and I'll link you to resources that maybe can help with that. Last week, I talked a bit about this live run thing that I want to do at 10 weeks. And we're going to go on our last run together live. And I guess I need to look into whether this can be like a shared thing instead of me just talking. But I'm not sure in podcast land how that works. I'm an avid YouTube tutorial watcher, though. So when it comes to some of this stuff, I need to look into it, and I'll start explaining how we're going to do it when I know better. And then during our 30-minute nonstop run at the end of the 10 weeks, I want to do it together. So, and I wanted to do it live. So I'm going to start putting down the information in the show notes. And as we get closer, I'll talk more about that and just how it's going to look. Because I don't really know how it's going to look, but I also would like you to send me an email about what the best time for you would be to be able to do that. And I'll link you to a survey too if you'd rather do that. down in the show notes to let me know what the best time of day for you is, because maybe Monday morning at 9 a.m. just isn't that good for you. So we'll find some kind of consensus, and that's when I'll do it if possible. So link up to that survey, and if you're doing this training, let me know when the best time for a virtual group run would be. 30 minutes long, and we'll go from there. Okay, recovery for 2 minutes.
Now, last week, I was running in, I didn't run in Disney. I want to run in Disney sometime, but I didn't run in Disney. But my family and I took a needed winter vacay down to Florida to go to Disney World. And so last week I was wearing shorts and t-shirts on my runs. And now I'm back to running with gloves and hats and layers and long socks and all the things. So it was very, very nice to be able to get away and run. And I think I touched a little bit on running in when you're on vacation before. And it's just an awesome way to be able to see an area and experience what you might stumble upon when you are on a run, and you just kind of go out there. And even with what you guys are doing, you know, a 30-minute run walk, if you go anywhere within these next 10 weeks, it'll do your body good, and it'll do you good too. You know, a lot of times when we get on vacation, we're driving from place to place, and we only did Disney 2 days out of the week, but you know, we were in the car, we were on rides, we were sitting around a lot waiting. There was a lot of people there, which I guess I wasn't expecting the amount of crowds that were there, because it's supposed to be a low time. I'd hate to see high time, but there was just a lot of standing around. So it's kind of good to be able to get out and get your body moving a little bit, either in the morning or the next day. Okay, ready?
All right, run for 3 minutes. It's more packing, that's for sure, which can be a pain for some people, I know, especially if you're a carry-oner person. I'm not a carry-oner. I don't like fighting for space, and the whole thing just stresses me out. So I always check my bag, no matter how small, because I just can't. But because I run on vacation, my luggage is never very small anyway. So it is more packing, and that's something you have to take into consideration. Now, the nice part is if you're going to someplace warm, you're packing t-shirts and shorts, so you can just roll those up and throw those in, and it's just your running shoes that are the bulk in that kind of situation. But sometimes if you're going, say, skiing in Utah, you're going to be packing a lot differently for running. So you do have to think about that stuff and how much extra weight you want to put in your luggage. But let me tell you, getting out for a run on vacation is really, really cool. I have seen some awesome things that my husband who runs with me and we would never have seen had we not kept up our running while we were away from home. And, you know, who knows? Maybe when I run Disney, maybe you'll be there too, and we can meet up, because I know for their marathon weekend, they have a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon. So whatever you may be doing, maybe you can be there. And I think if you do all of them together, it's called the Dopey Challenge, and maybe someday I'll do that, because my goal is before I turn 60, I want to do an ultra marathon. So maybe one of the things that I also do is run that Dopey Challenge as part of my training, because that will definitely fatigue my legs. And, you know, if you do all of that, that can help with ultra marathoning, but that's another topic. But anyway, Disney was my week last week. I hope you had a good week last week. I know Monday mornings, if you're doing this when I'm doing this, can be kind of not fun, especially coming off of the vacation. But hanging in there gets those endorphins going and really starts your day right and your week right. We have about 20 more seconds before our next recovery. And so I better start turning around and head back home, because after these next few seconds, we only have one more 3-minute run, and then you're done with the running intervals. So that is super awesome. Okay, so head into recovery now.
So part of the homework that I'm going to give you too is getting you started with stretching. Now, when you first start to run, a lot of people, you'll see them doing these stretches that, if you're like me and you're in your 50s, you were probably doing in gym class when you were in high school. And unless your gym teacher was very progressive, those are not the kind of stretches that we recommend for runners. We do what is called dynamic stretching, which means that you're not bouncing. It's not like the old, like the bouncing kind of thing, but there is movement involved in the stretching. You're not static stretching, which is, just standing still, trying to touch your toes. You're going to find that, like, if running, if that's your thing, if that's going to become how you exercise, it is hard to be a flexible person. I do some yoga with my running, very, very sparsely, but I do some. And one thing you are going to learn is to try to keep your flexibility up. You really need to do some of these dynamic stretches that I'm going to direct you to. And that will not only help your running, it's just going to help you in general to stay kind of, well, I wouldn't call myself limber, but to at least stay a little bit pliable. I'm not very pliable at all. I know from when I lived in Japan, my friend and I went to this yoga class with this yoga instructor.
Okay, run for 3 minutes. This is your last run, so you can do this for 3 minutes. You can do this. So anyway, the school that my son went to was an international school and was set up really, really nicely. They had all kinds of things for the parents to do and all kinds of classes. And I loved my time in Japan. But anyway, we went to a yoga class, and the yoga teacher was like a fanatical yoga teacher. She was awesome, but she was also the type that would come over and pull and bend you into the various positions that she wanted you to go or thought you should be in. And no matter how many times that I told her that I knew that I did not bend in those ways quite as much as she wanted me to, a lot of times she didn't listen and she would do it anyway. And this is another example of listening to your own body. Don't let anyone tell you what your body should be doing. If something doesn't feel right, you know how you feel. And I knew how I felt. My body did not want to bend the way she wanted me to go. And luckily, I would stop her or yell out before she did any damage, like pull a muscle on me or something. But I knew that yoga was not my core sport. Running is. And so I was not interested in becoming this pliable, bendable yogi that would be able to do all the things, all the yoga things. So again, stand up for yourself and know how your body is feeling. Now, I will say that yoga can help you with your flexibility and also your recovery. If I'm needing an active recovery day, which is a day that you do something, I like to either go on the stationary bike or I like to do a yoga class. And you can actually find yoga for runners online, and you can even find recovery yoga classes for runners. And that's what I usually do. And I do just about a half hour, and I do feel better. The dynamic stretches that I'll direct you to can help you too with the flexibility and, doing all that. So part of the drills that I have been showing you.
Okay, guys, awesome. Recover for 2 minutes, and you are almost there. I'm going to direct you to some dynamic stretches, and you can build those into your warm-up and also your cool down. You do not have to. I would walk for a few minutes after a cool down, but especially because you're still walking within your walk run. If you wanted to just say walk for 2 or 3 minutes and then do some stretches, that's perfectly fine too as far as a cool down goes. But these dynamic stretches can help you, especially if you have certain issues in your body that you're starting to feel now, like calf tightness or tightness in your hip area, tightness in your glutes, different things like that. These stretches that I will direct you to, that I want you to try, will help you to maybe not alleviate them totally, but start getting your body used to the motion of running and loosen you up a little bit. And again, I will say, make sure your doctor knows that you are exercising or starting to run. Make sure that you are fully cleared to do some of this stuff. And if you are doing a stretch and it's starting to hurt, then you don't do that. You stop. Stretches, you're going to feel the stretch, but it shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't cause you pain that that's not beneficial to you. So stop doing it and build up gradually if it is hurting. But anyway, I'm going to put some down below, and that's going to be part of your homework, is to incorporate 3, 2, 1. All right, cool down 5 minutes. So we're going to talk about homework more now. So starting next week, what I want you to do is I want you to plan out your own warm-up. I'm still going to do the 5 minutes with you. I'm just going to walk and talk like I've been doing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want you to come up with your own warm-up routine for next week. And I will tell you the 1 minute intervals. I will, say, okay, here's a minute, do something. Here's another minute, do something. And I'll do that for 3 times and then give you the standard 2 minutes to get out the door or whatever. And you can either walk with me if that's what you like to do for a warm-up. But I would love for you to get the confidence that you need to start building and having a say in your own training plan, because this is yours. And I'm giving you some tools and some resources to use for that. But I want you to start getting comfortable planning things out. You're not always going to have me in your ear by the end of 10 weeks. You probably aren't going to want me in your ear, but I want you to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to go for a run. I need a 5 minute warm up right now. Boom, 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 boom. Here it is. So start putting together a plan. I've given you enough kind of warm up drills that it can be varied. You can do a different one every week. You can do the same one every day, whatever. But I want you to build your own workout plan or warm up plan for yourself for next week. And then the other thing I want you to do, like I mentioned before, I want you to do 10 minutes of strength training 2 times this week. You don't have to do it on the days you run, but I just find it easier to actually do on the days that I run because I'm already ready to go. So like when I go home today, I'm just going to head right to the basement and get that. My upper body is due today. Get my upper body strength training done. And I don't go in for a 2-hour gym session. I'm not trying to build crazy muscle. I'm just not trying to have some all-around fitness, and especially in my lower body, build my running muscles. And so I do more running specific strength training. Now upper body, I wouldn't have to do upper body. I'm not running on my palms, but gotta get across the street here before I get killed. Okay. But I do like to get my upper body done as well, and just have all around fitness. So I want you to pick 2 times this week for 10 minutes and look up some of these resources that I'll show you for strength training, and just get a very easy full workout in. And then also you're going to run what we did today. You're going to do 3 more times this week, unless you're coming into a situation that we're talking about, that I've talked about earlier. And if you are in a situation, if you're starting to feel things, like I said, email me. Also, if you feel some tightness anywhere that I'm not covering when I direct you to these dynamic stretches, email me too, because then I will put those in the show notes as well. Other dynamic stretches for specifically you, if you email me and let me know that that's what you need. So next week, we are going to be doing a 4-1, which is kind of a big jump. Okay, you're only getting 1 minute of recovery, 4 minutes of running. You are going to feel this, okay? So that's why I'm saying, if you don't feel like you can get day 4 in this week with the 3-2, I don't want you to do it. I want you to be fresh for next week's 4-1. I do not want you to advance to the 4-1 if you are not feeling fully recovered and that you can do it next week. And sometimes we have to actually go out for the run to know that this is a nope. So even if you start the 4-1 and in the middle of it, you feel like this is just too much, then I want you to stop. And okay, workout is ended. You're done with your cool down. But hang with me just for 1 minute, because I just want to make sure that you're ready for this 4-1. It's gonna feel tough. I'm not saying that these feel easy, that you're just skipping through the 2 lifts, okay? It's not. It's gonna feel tough. But if you're starting to feel injured, pain, too much fatigue in the legs, then that's a time that you need to pull back. Because what also happens when you are overtraining, which is what it's called when you do too much, your psyche gets burned out. And so you're not going to complete this 10 weeks if you're starting to feel those things. So that's why I'm saying I want you fully recovered before you start that 4-1. And again, email me with any questions, issues, problems, anything that I can help you with, and we'll try to get through this together, okay? So your workout's done. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'll see you next week.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know another runner who could benefit from today's topic, go ahead and share it. Do you have any running questions? You can ask me. Email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com, and if I can't answer your question, I will do the research to find the answer and share it with you. The questions I get from listeners like you help me develop episodes, so please don't be shy. You can sign up for my once-a-month newsletter using the link provided so that you can have all the Wrinkled Runner resources from the past month all in one place. I also have opened up my virtual coaching in addition to coaching one-on-one with those in the Buffalo, New York area. So head to my coaching page on the Wrinkled Runner website, which I will, of course, link to, and check out how we may be able to work together. Until next Monday, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the run.